Hello, folks. This is Pastor Mike Hoggard, pastor of Bethel Church in Festus, Missouri, and head of prophetic research ministry with another Watchman video broadcast. Got a picture for you. A snapshot taken. Here is the aging, hobbling, looks like he's got a cane, Henry Kissinger making his way into, of all places, the Bilderberg meeting. Now, I will tell you, we started this broadcast out a year and a half ago with a video clip of Henry Kissinger talking about how this financial crisis was going to bring in a new world order. We can see some of that coming to fruition right now. So Henry Kissinger has long been known. He's Council of Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, and probably has not missed a Bilderberg meeting yet. And if you don't know what the Bilderbergs are, I've never been to one. They haven't invited me yet. I don't think they ever will. But anyway, it's a consortium, and I have a list of names. I want to give you some of the names of the people that are there. It's sort of a consortium of people from all over the world gathering together to decide how they're going to manipulate the world throughout the next year. How they're going to bring the world and our nation and Canada and Mexico and Spain and all of these other nations into a new global conglomerate society. Instead of this nation being an independent nation, now we're global. Now we're part of everything. And here's Kissinger walking in. Here is, and nobody really knows what they're doing in there, but the interesting thing to do is to watch and see what happens after they have this meeting. Listen to news report. Let me read some of the names here so you understand kind of some of the people that are going to be there. Some of these you've never heard of, but some of them are affiliated with some of the most powerful political, finance, and business groups that there are in the world, and media people. We have Joseph Ackerman. He's from Germany. He is the chairman of the management board of the group of executive committee of Deutsche Bank in Germany. We have Rusin Kakir, who is a journalist. But they're not going to report on what's going on there. We have Gordon Campbell, the Premier of British Columbia. We have, let's see here. Gustavo A. Cisneros, Chairman and CEO of Cisneros Group of Companies. We have TDK Bank Financial Group represented. We have George David, Chairman of Coca-Cola. I guess he's going to supply all the beverages for the meeting. We have Bill and Melinda Gates. Now that he's not running Microsoft every day, he's got time to go to meetings. And so he's at the Bilderberg meeting. We have Philip Gordon, Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs. So, in fact, we have two people from the State Department of the United States of America represented at this group. Donald Graham, Chairman and CEO of the Washington Post Company. You can bet that they're not going to report on anything that was discussed in the meeting. But you need to understand this. These people are being used simply as media outlets for the things that are going on. I got a whole page full of people that I missed here. Let's see who's from the United States here. Richard Holbrooke, Special Rep for Afghanistan and Pakistan. Robert Hormats, Undersecretary for Economic, Energy, and Agricultural Affairs. Let's see here. James Johnson, Vice Chairman, Perseus. That's interesting because this movie, Percy Jackson and the lightning thief or whatever, he was half man, half God. He was named after Perseus. Let's see here. Let's move on. Henry Kissinger. Oh, there he is. We got a picture of him. Let's see here. Klaus Kleinfeld, Chairman and CEO of Alcoa Agricultural. Boy, the list goes on here. I don't want to miss. Oh, here we are. Microsoft is represented. Craig Mundy, Chief Research and Strategy Officer, Microsoft Corporation. Let's see here. Let's move on down the list. Let's get to some interesting people here. Eric Schmidt, CEO and Chairman of the Board of Google, and he's a member of the Board of Executive Directors. Chairman of the Board of Google is at the Bilderberg meeting. Now, they were there last year. And all these things that are coming out, of course, Google's the one, they're mapping the globe. Not only they're mapping the globe, they're sort of geo-coordinating everything. They're driving up and down the streets. If you get Google Earth, you can see their street view, and you can see pictures of the street that you might be on. But while they were doing that, they got caught, and they're supposedly being punished by all these countries, which they're not really. But they got caught stealing people's computer information from their wireless network. They were hacking into people's wireless networks on the way down. So they didn't start doing that until after they go to a Bilderberg meeting. Google is a search engine, and we always think, well, I'm going to use Google to search the internet. Really, what I think is going on is Google is using the internet to search you, because the database, everything you type in, everything you search for is being databased, and a little conglomerate scheme of who you are and what you represent based upon your IP address. Who else would we have here? Charlie Rose, the producer, Rose Communications. He's one who does all these interviews on PBS. Robert Rubin, co-chairman, Council on Foreign Relations, former Secretary of the Treasury. Let's see here in the list is Lawrence Summers, National Economic Council, on and on and on and on. Christine Varney, Assistant Attorney General for Antitrust, and so on. Some of the most powerful people, influential people in the world showing up at the Bilderberg meeting. I don't know what's going on there, but I promise you they're going to make sure that everything that happens throughout this next year is fully under their control. And you can almost bet that they're discussing this oil spill, and we got some news on that. And I am slow to react on certain issues when it comes to things that are put out on the internet. Some people were putting out various types of information here lately concerning the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, and saying that martial law was going to be declared any minute now because of the health risks due to the oil spill. Now, some people were really, really hyping this up, and I just don't automatically jump on the hype bandwagon. However, there are some things that I'm going to report mostly without comment, because these are things that are real, things that we know are happening, things that are being admitted. Here's the first one. This is from the Army's website. Guard readies as Gulf Coast braces for oil spill. This is dated April 30th, 2010. At least 3 states along the Gulf of Mexico are preparing for a potential call for thousands of National Guard members as the nation ramps up its response to the Deepwater Horizon oil spill today. Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal sent letters to federal officials asking them to approve funding to activate up to 6,000 Guard members to assist in the response to the oil spill. The article says, currently our soldiers and airmen are staging for and are engaged in the planning of the effort to evacuate and provide security and cleanup for the coastal communities expected to be impacted by the oil spill, Jindal wrote. They are engaged in the protection of vital infrastructure to include medical facilities, fuel distribution, interstate highways, water ice distribution, and power facilities, which are all vital to the recovery of coastal Louisiana. Now, I want to stop right here, okay? And this sounds ominous. And naturally, we have, on one hand, we have a distrust for things related to the United States government, FEMA, Department of Homeland Security, and all of this stuff. We have this natural distrust, okay? Now, from a practical standpoint, if there is some sort of a disaster in the making or in the works or in the progress or has already happened, it is normal and natural for governors to dispatch their National Guard troops or their state guard troops or whatever it is. It is normal for them to do that. It is normal for them to dispatch these guys. This is one of the things that they're trained to do. I mean, basically, you have a bunch of guys in uniforms that are there to do basically anything that needs to be done, whether it's to guard this facility or to hand out aid or to help in the cleanup or to just whatever, any number of things. So we can't automatically say, oh my goodness, martial law, they've got troops with guns and are going to shoot people. We can't automatically say that, okay? So that's one thing. Now to the next one. This is dated June 9th, 2010. U.S. Northcom. Now stop right here. We reported last year, and several others did, on U.S. Northcom. This is the North American Command Center of the United States military. Basically, U.S. Northcom's job is to prepare for some sort of unspecified, although I think they have it all specified out, some sort of unspecified event that could take place, some sort of disaster or some sort of something bad that's going to happen in the United States. This is American troops that are training and preparing for this. So here's the article. U.S. Northcom has admitted that they are preparing military operations within the United States. This is the first time in history that this has been done, and they will be working with Department of Homeland Security, state and local law enforcement on U.S. soil. The focus of this operation will be in our own backyard. Northcom is planning on defending against enemy attacks and supporting civilian authorities with fighting an unconventional foe, all on U.S. soil. Northcom went on to say that the drill will be in the Gulf area. They anticipate no infrastructure and possible extreme weather conditions. Even more significant, this inspection marked the first time that any Air Force unit has been wartime validated in support of the security and defense of the United States of America. That's huge, Nelson said. The survival of thousands of Americans rests on this training. So now we go to an article written by Major Dale Greer, 123rd Airlift Wing Public Affairs. So I would assume this would be out of the Air Force's office. Units make history with Air Force 1st Homeland Defense ORI. Gulfport, Mississippi. 3 units representing each component of the Air Force made history here May 16th through 23rd when they successfully completed the 1st Homeland Defense Operational Readiness Inspection. The ORI, held at the Gulfport Combat Readiness Training Center here, was administered by the Air Mobility Command Inspector General on a trial basis, but it may help pave the way for future inspections, officials said. For the very first time, the U.S. Air Force has validated a unit's wartime capability to defend the homeland by fighting an enemy right here on U.S. soil, said Colonel Greg Nelson. Wasn't he the guy from I Dream of Jeannie? I don't know. Anyway, the commander of the Kentucky Air National Guard's 123rd Airlift Wing, which served as the lead organization for the ORI. That represents a major shift in the way Air Force leaders evaluate unit readiness because it puts the focus in our own backyard rather than a simulated overseas location where these evaluations are usually staged. Now, again, okay, yes, troops are being dispatched to the Gulf areas, being ready to operate some sort of operation. We don't know what. The Air Force is training as part of this Northcom thing and all this stuff we've been talking about for something that might occur. The Army is admitting that they are training in the Gulf area and so on and so on and so on. Does this add up to martial law, people being thrown into incinerators, all of this stuff? No, not necessarily. And so let's be watchers instead of leapers. Now, if something substantive happens and it can be proven, I'll be the first one out there to say, hey, this is not right. But let's just keep our eye on it just to make sure. Now, this Gulf thing, we know, we've been talking about the numerical significance of it. We have our book here, the Babel Conspiracy, that shows patterns that are related to significant things that are happening on planet Earth. And those patterns, their source and the knowledge of those patterns comes to us from our King James Bible. And so we looked at the dates. I won't go into all that today, but we looked at all those things that were taking place there in the Gulf and how the numerical significance of them seemed to be adding up to something. I don't think we really know what that is yet, but here is an article that I saw this morning. BP Gulf of Mexico crisis will transform the oil industry. This is written by Chris Williams, who is professor of offshore engineering at Delft University. The opinions expressed are his own. He says in this editorial here, he says, although the leakage will therefore continue for weeks to come and the cleanup operations will take even longer, it is already clear that the disaster will herald a transformation in the oil industry. Now, I want to stop right here because anytime any of these articles or anything like that deals with transformation and paradigm shifts and awakening and all of this stuff, it always makes me perk up because that is the language used in, I don't have my copy here, that is the language used in Marilyn Ferguson's The Aquarian Conspiracy. And so usually when I see things like transformation or symbols of this and that and the other, it makes me aware that something greater is going to happen down the road. And so this guy's he's just writing an editorial about how this oil spill is going to change things, transform them. Look at what he says. He says it signals a new regulatory era, especially in the U.S., including the new 6-month moratorium on offshore drilling announced last month by President Barack Obama. Authorities around the North Sea are also reasserting their positions. This will be paralleled by movement by the industry towards, here it is, a new paradigm, which, as is explored later in this article, may potentially require companies to adopt new operating models and much better engineering expertise of how to manage and mitigate disasters when they occur. So I think that there is something here about change, about transformation. It seems like I have another article here. Yeah, here it is. It's out of order, but I want to get to it now. Obama vows to push energy bill. Who doesn't see that coming? U.S. President Barack Obama vowed Wednesday to find the votes. I'll stop right here. We learned from the health care bill that how congressmen and presidents find votes is that they pay for them. Here's $6 billion going to your state. Why, we're going to fund everything that you ever wanted in your state if you'll just vote for this one little energy bill we have. That's how they find votes. Find votes to pass a stalled energy bill in the Senate using the huge Gulf of Mexico oil spill to advance efforts to boost production of renewable fuels or renewable fuels. The House of Representatives has already passed a comprehensive energy and climate bill. That is the cap and trade bill. And there is currently a plan in the Senate, a plan that was developed with ideas from Democrats and Republicans that would achieve the same goals. The votes may not be there right now, but I intend to find them in the coming months, Obama said at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. He said that the oil spill may prove to be a result of human error or corporations taking dangerous shortcuts that compromise safety. But that deep water drilling is inherently risky, and the U.S. cannot rely solely on fossil fuels. The time has come once and for all for this nation to fully embrace clean energy future. And we have already, so much information is out there about this cap and trade bill. And it's not about saving this is all about power and control. It's about money. It's about, let me get my articles. I can't think and talk at the same time here. It's about money. It's about power. And anytime there's a bill passed right now, you can almost guarantee that it's going to deal with those two issues right there. Who's going to control the money? Who's going to control the wealth of the world? And who's going to control the power systems of the world? Our nation was founded upon we the people. In other words, the power should be in the people of the United States. Here they are. They're going to build this mosque at Ground Zero in New York City, a mosque in honor of the God who told those guys to drive those airplanes into those buildings. We're going to honor this God. 10,000 people showed up to protest this thing. Right on. Go for it. I don't think you should build another mosque anywhere in America. But, it's a free country, and we have our secret broadcast compound and all of this stuff. But I'm just, the power should be in the hands of the people. And the people are looking at what's going on in their nation, and they're going, no, we're going to do 10,000 people who normally, these are not the hippie protesters of the 60s and 70s. These are not Save the Whale people. These are New York citizens. Some of them are firefighters' widows who showed up and said, you're not going to build a mosque here. Some things are just in poor taste, and some things are just downright offensive. But instead, we have a situation where the power does not belong to the people. It belongs to the elite, to the high-ranking politicians, the high-ranking businesses, and the banks. That's where the power and that's where the money is headed to. You watch these bills as they're being passed. It is a transfer. When they talk about transfer of wealth, the liberal left says, oh, we're going to transfer the wealth of the wealthy people to the poor people. No, they're not. They're going to transfer the wealth of individual people to a centralized location so that these people have the power and the money. That's what it's about. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad stresses need for a new world order. He says Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad on Monday called for cooperation among world states to forge a new world order. He said the conditions we're experiencing today need planning for new orders in the world and our cooperation and co-thinking for organizing the conditions. Ahmadinejad told reporters before departing for Istanbul, Turkey, to take part in the conference on interaction and confidence building measures in Asia. So here's Ahmadinejad, and we know what kind of person he is. He loves the God that tells people to fly airplanes and buildings. That's who he worships. And he believes that Israel ought to just die in a big puff of smoke. And so here's tension in the Middle East here. Israel may strike Iran next month. Egypt secures border, places troops on alert. The Egyptian government believes July will be a decisive month that may see an Israeli military strike against Iran's nuclear facilities, according to a senior Egyptian security official speaking to WorldNet Daily. The official said Egypt already has implemented security measures that take into account an Israeli strike against Iran within the next month or so. Does anybody think that it's getting hot over in the Middle East? Speaking of hot, this is a report from NASA. As the sun awakens, NASA keeps a wary eye on space weather. Earth and space are about to come into contact in a way that's new to human history. To make preparations, authorities in Washington, D.C. are holding a meeting, the Space Weather Enterprise Forum at the National Press Club on June 8th. Here's what Richard Fisher said, head of NASA's Heliophysics Division. The sun is waking up from a deep slumber, and in the next few years, we expect to see much higher levels of solar activity. Now, I want to stop right here because there are several places in the Bible that deal with this, and one of those is in the book of Revelation. I don't know if I can find it very quickly, but in the book of Revelation, it deals with this idea of the sun scorching men with a terrible heat. I believe that's one of the vials of wrath that's poured out. But anyway, we have talked on this broadcast about the possibility of an electromagnetic pulse disabling most of the electronic and electric infrastructure of our country. The theory is that Iran would explode one nuclear bomb over the United States and send out an electromagnetic pulse. If you saw the movie Knowing, and some people have sent me this clip of in the movie Knowing, he supposedly was predicting an oil rig explosion, and could very well be. But one of the interesting things in this movie was there was a lot of numbers there. There was a lot of references to the book of Ezekiel, but there was a reference to the concept that the sun's electromagnetic radiation would bombard the earth and basically kill all of life on the earth. That concept there is biblical. That is right out of the book of Revelation. Another part of that is that the electromagnetic radiation from the sun would disable most of the electronic devices upon planet Earth. It is something to be watching for. Now, getting into some really weird stuff. I'm going to be talking about, I've got symbols and numbers and soccer balls, all kinds of stuff to deal with here. Here is a commentary that says the singularity is here. The article says he speaks in 9 languages, taught himself Icelandic in a week, and invented his own language called Monty. The 31-year-old acoustic savant does complex celestial computations in seconds, sees hundreds of numbers on a blackboard once, and can recite them in the correct sequence minutes later. Daniel Tammet possesses synesthesia. Not only does he see numbers, but he also feels them. He is one in hundreds of millions, as he demonstrated on ABC's 2020 this week. But when the singularity arrives, that moment in history when the supercomputer capable of trillions of moves per second will have reached parity with the human brain, capable of feelings from bereavement to passionate to anger, countless millions of people will be like Tammet. The singularity is near. A true story about the future. A documentary film by inventor and futurist Ray Kurzweil will make its world premiere debut June 12th at the Breckenridge Film Festival in Colorado. Kurzweil predicts that with the ever-accelerating rate of technological change, humanity is fast approaching an era in which our intelligence will become trillions of times more powerful and increasingly merged with computers. Look at this. Kurzweil sees the dawning of a new civilization, enabling us to transcend our biological limitations. Boundaries blur between human and machine, real and virtual. Human aging and illnesses are reversed, he says. World hunger and poverty are solved, and we cure death. Basically, here's what this, and this called the singularity. And I want you to get this because I've got a symbol to show you. The singularity is this idea that at some point the computers will advance so well that they will be almost human in their ability to think and ration and feel emotion. Simultaneously happening is our ability to fuse electronics, biomechanics, whatever you want to call it, into the human body, into the human brain, so that we can think, run, jump, see, do all kinds of things that computers are doing right now with amazing speed and clarity. We will be the singularity is the fusion of technology and humanity. Basically, it is making us gods. Now, I want you to follow this. Here is my technology here. Okay, I want to send a text message while I'm driving. Oh my goodness, I'm going to wreck my car. The ability to send a message to anyone, anywhere on the planet, simply by thinking it and projecting it, using humanity and electronics fused together. This is what we're on. We are close to being on the verge of that. It is a scary situation, and it is one of those things that we're looking at because this is what's going to help propel mankind into godhood. Genesis chapter 3. The serpent told Eve, 46 words here, the number of chromosomes we have in our body. He said, "You shall not surely die." There's the eternal life thing right there. "You shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil." The day that you eat thereof. The singularity is about a day. The day of the Lord is coming. There's going to come a day when God is going to turn man over to a reprobate mind. 2 Thessalonians 2:11, "For this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie." There is going to come a day when mankind is going to be fused with something that really he shouldn't be fused with. His DNA is going to be restructured, rewritten, changed. He's going to be a superhuman, a god. The word singular. Have you ever heard that word before? Have you ever heard the word singular before? Take a look. AT&T bought them out years ago. But it's singular wireless, the logo. And notice the spelling of the word singular, C-I-N-G-U-L-A-R. The C-I-N part comes from the Spanish word cinc or cinco or whatever, which means the number 5. So look at their logo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points there. That is Revelation chapter 9, the 5th trumpet sounds. That is the number 5 all throughout the Scriptures. You're going to see that. It is accompanied by the day of the Lord. It is accompanied by the rapture, the Gentile church. It is accompanied, and we're going to see this in just a little bit here again, this number 5. If you want more clarity on that, we have a video called The Pentacle of Power. You can get that and get more understanding into this deeply occult symbolism. But I want you to notice that the singular logo is a stylized version, and you'll see it everywhere, of the Skull and Crossbones. The Skull and Bones Society, a secret society that Bush and Kerry and all of these other people belong to. The Skull and Bones symbol, the bones represent the X chromosome where our DNA is stored. The skull is a symbol in the Bible for the Antichrist. It is the Antichrist or his spirit fused with mankind. That's what the singularity really is. Look at this article here. Immortal avatars. Back up your brain. Never die. Zoe Greystone is a girl with 2 brains. Only one of them is human. The other is an exact digital copy that has become conscious in its own right. When the human Zoe dies, her digital brain is implanted into a humanoid robot, effectively bringing her back from the grave. Such ideas have littered science fiction for decades. Indeed, Greystone is a character in the American TV drama Caprica, but could such a tale ever become reality? Though there is little prospect of creating a genuinely conscious robo-clone in the foreseeable future, several companies are taking the first steps in that direction. Their initial goal is to enable you to create a lifelike digital representation, or, here it is, an avatar. Now stop right here. Here's this. We're being flooded now with these images and these concepts of an avatar. Here we have the movie Avatar coming out, and it was a digital way of transferring or becoming a half human, half alien. That is Daniel chapter 2, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. This Avatar, there's another movie coming out. The cartoon that it was based upon was called Avatar: The Last Airbender. But they dropped the Avatar title because of James Cameron's movie, who was a 33rd degree Mason, by the way. And they just calling it The Last Airbender. Now they go back to this skull and bones symbol here. The airbender represents a person who has mastery over air, one of the four elements, earth, air, fire, and water. That's what the skull or the crossbones represent. Earth, air, fire, and water. They represent the four base pairs of your DNA, and the X chromosome of your DNA, with the fifth element called ether, or the spirit realm, added to it. That's what that avatar thing is all about. So this movie, The Last Airbender, I mean, you're going to see this imagery. Hadn't even seen the movie, you're going to see this imagery of earth, air, fire, and water all together. And people, and I'm telling you, we're headed into some dangerous stuff. Here's another one. The Avatar Revolution. Here come, listen to this, the new humans. When it was unveiled in June 2000, the first draft of the human genome marked a new stage in our understanding of who we are. 10 years later, and our view of our human identity may be changing again. Thanks to the plethora of personal information about us on the internet, that's Google, we may soon have a digital twin. Like it or not, most of us already have a digital identity of one form or another. This may be just a photo, or like Facebook profile, it may be packed with personal details. By the way, Google even know what you look like. Why? Because you sent your videos and you sent your pictures to YouTube and Facebook, and you put them on Picasa and you put it everywhere else. See how it works? For many, our digital self has become a handy tool to communicate, network, blog, to buy and sell, Revelation 13, or to play games online. Let's see here. It goes on to talk about some may feel that a virtual self is an invasion of our privacy, at least judging by the avalanche of complaints that fell on Facebook when it recently changed its privacy settings to reflect how, or so it thought, more people want to share more information. However, such avatars aren't likely to present a new kind of challenge to security. If anything, it will be a variation on the same old data protection issues. We're talking about an avatar being a representation of the new humanity. Humanity plus, Homo nexus, Homo evolutus, these new concepts in evolution that says that mankind is about ready to bring in his own next step of evolution. Instead of letting Mother Nature do it, we're going to do it to ourselves. This whole concept of an avatar. There's an online avatar type situation. It's a 3D virtual world community called Second Life. This is one of those things, good grief. This is one of those things that, man, if I was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old right now, I would be living, I guarantee you, I would be living a fantasy world inside of my computer. That's what I would be doing. I'm much older now, and I don't really care anymore. I like my life the way it is. But people all over the world are playing this Second Life game, and what they're able to do is they're able, through their avatar, to create a situation and actually become godlike in their powers. They can give themselves powers to fly, powers to do magic, powers to do this, powers to do that, unlimited wealth, good looks. They can do anything. They can fornicate with people online through their avatars. This has everything to do with why the Apostle Paul told us to cast down our imaginations. Our imaginations are these little fantasy worlds that we dream up. And we're supposed to cast those down because they stand in direct opposition to what God wants for us as far as eternal life is concerned. You know, one of these days, I will be a God through Jesus Christ. I don't want you to misconstrue that, and I think you understand what I'm saying here. is that I will be an immortal one of these days. I will live forever. I will have unlimited powers. I will judge over the entire earth at the second coming of our Lord. All of these are scriptural concepts, people, but not in this life, and definitely not with this flesh. But that's what's being proposed to people. It's a sidestepping of the cross of Jesus Christ is what it is. And it's dangerous. And if you're in second life, get out of it. Because you're going to start loving the fantasy world more than you are the people that are around you. And you're in danger. I want you to take a look at the logo of Second Life. Notice the all-seeing eye here. Boy, that ought to just raise red flags in you. And notice the hand. This is associated with the hand of the mystery. Now, let's get Danny Brown out here. And Dan Brown spoke of the hand of the mystery here in the lost symbol. Symbols mean everything. They are the language that we need to pay attention to. The hand of the mysteries is related to the day of the Lord being at hand, but it's related to the fifth trumpet being sounded and the 5-month time prophecy where the beast is rising up and all of those angels are rising up, the locust, and all of this stuff is taking place. And the symbolisms are there. You can get our videos on that on the Secret Mysteries Revealed of Dan Brown's book. I forgot what I called them. But anyway, I dealt with that hand of the mystery in there, and I show you what that is. But that's the logo for Second Life, folks. That is propelling this world into the New World Order where the Antichrist is in charge. Somebody sent me this today, and I appreciate it. They asked me to watch this YouTube video, and I watched it, and they said, "Do you get it?" And I'm going, "Yeah, I get it." This is a group called America's Future Now. It's like a 3-minute montage of certain speakers. Van Jones was one of them. The head of the SEIU, the Service Employees International Union, which is one of the most left-leaning, power and money-hungry organizations in the entire world. These people are sickening to me. George Soros, who is a billionaire and he's funding all these progressive ideas, they're the ones behind Barack Obama. But I want you to look at their logo here, America's Future Now. And if you think that looks like a number 6, you're exactly right. That's exactly what it is. It's a stylized 6. And what are you getting at, Pastor Mike? Let's go to Genesis 6 and we can get an understanding. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they choose. That is the fusion of the opposites. They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. That is what's contained in Genesis 6. And from that came the giants. So you go to the 6th book of the Bible, the book of Joshua. What did Joshua deal with when he went into the land of Canaan? He fought the giants. David fought a giant. How many fingers and toes did he have? 6. Can you imagine him being born and his mama counting his fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 fingers, 6 toes, 600 shekels of brass his spear has weighed, and he was 6 cubits tall. And it reminds us of a guy whose number, it's a number of transformation. It's a number of fusion, a hybrid. 600, 6. That's what this is. We are the change, is what this seminar was all about. America's Future Now. I'm telling you, we are being propelled into a new world order. I mentioned Barack Obama a while ago. This is from WorldNet Daily. Uncovered Obama's Mystery College Years. A recently released book uncovers untold aspects of President Obama's mystery college years, tying the politician to associates of Weather Underground founder William Ayers and to radical groups operating at the time. A new book, Manchurian President, that charges Obama has deep ties to anti-American extremist nexus. That's an interesting word there. That has been instrumental not only in building his political career, but in crafting current White House policy. And I'll tell you, the list of people that Barack Obama have been affiliated with over the years that influenced him then and still pulling the strings now is absolutely incredible. You start chasing these people down like Bill Ayers and Van Jones and George Soros and some of these other kooks that are out there. These people they are the ultimate in a new world order agenda. Liberal agenda is a fascist agenda that seeks to make everybody one. It's socialism, it's communism. It is the singularity being brought about by political means. This is the President of the United States, and this is the direction that our country is going. We are the change. We are the transformation. Speaking of transformation and change, there was a Katie Couric on CBS News last night did a deal on this the World Cup. My son-in-law is from Kenya, and they like soccer in Kenya. I don't know why. But his whole life now is going to be spent for the next month looking at World Cup action. Well, the World Cup's taking place, and all of a sudden they introduced this new ball. And some of the players, especially some of the goalies, don't like it. But Chad up in Detroit sent me a picture of this and said, Pastor Mike, you just take a look at it. You just see if you see. Do you see what I see? So here it is. Here is the new ball. Now just take a look at it, okay? Just look at a symbol here. And then look at the name, Jabulani. Now, you might not know what that is. In fact, let me read this here. On the day of the final draw for the 2010 FIFA World Cup South Africa, the official ball for the competition has been unveiled. Boy, that's an interesting term. The Adidas Jabulani, which means to celebrate in isiZulu, is the 11th edition of Adidas's FIFA World Cup balls. 11. Genesis chapter 11, Tower of Babel, okay? The 11 colors that are present on the Jabulani pay tribute to both football and the country in which Africa's first ever FIFA World Cup will be held. 11s, and here you have a little triangle, sort of a triquetras symbol, and the name Jabulon is purely Masonic. And Masonic initiation. That these three men get together and they make this as above, so below, and there you see their hands coupled in the middle. That is the fusion of the opposites and three-strand DNA, and they repeat the phrase, Jabul-an. I mean, just take a look at it. We're being transformed. We're being transformed. Hey, how would you like to transform your youth group? God has blessed Transform with many opportunities to serve, and we are excited to tell you about some of the new things we have to offer. How about Transform Weekend Series, inductive Bible study curriculum. Notice their logo. This is a youth ministries type conference type, one of these helps things that is going to transform your youth group in your church. I thought the cross was supposed to do all that. Be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed. How? Not by going to a youth seminar, not by having your DNA mingled, but by the renewing of your mind. You see, we don't think right, and we need the Bible to help us think right. And thank God we have good, godly seminaries out there that are training people, including Claremont Seminary, which reaches beyond Christianity. Calling multi-faith expansion the next step, the school will offer training for Muslims and Jews in a program that strains its historic ties with the Methodist Church. In a bow to the growing diversity of America's religious landscape, the Claremont School of Theology, a Christian institution with long ties with the Methodist Church, will add clerical training for Muslims and Jews to its curriculum this fall to become, in a sense, the first truly multi-faith American seminary. Yeah. And I will tell you, they're going to set the trend. Others are going to follow. And then somebody sent me this. The Medjugorje, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's an apparition of Mary. And they saw a billboard, they sent it to me, with a picture of, guess who that is? No, it's not Hillary Clinton. No, it's not Madonna. This is, and it's not the Virgin Mary either. This is, her name is, officially, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. That's the goddess Diana, Vishnu, Venus, Ashtar, Ishtaroth, Shingmu, Aphrodite. You name her. She is worshipped all over the world. And the Catholics call her Mary. And I feel sorry for them because they're worshiping the wrong God. But this is definitely her time. And she's going to take control for a while. But eventually it'll all fall on her, just like Jezebel. Let's see, how did Jezebel die? She fell. Babylon is fallen. Is fallen. What a world we live in. Interesting time to be alive. You know, I will tell you, I'm not all hyped up on martial law being declared because of this oil spill. I'm more concerned about the oil spill itself and what it's going to do. I'm not an environmentalist. I'm just a guy. But I will tell you that we are living in some pretty increasingly dangerous times in America. I'm going to ask the question, are you saved? Are you born again? Or are you just a conspiracy theory guy that thinks that you're going to shoot your way out of a new world order? It's not going to happen. Christ is going to come back. Christ shall ascend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, with the trump of God. The dead in Christ shall rise first, and then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with him. I believe that. I believe that's going to happen. The question is, are you going to be a part of that? Are you going to be a part of that? If you're not born again, today's the day. Get saved. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. For if we confess with our mouth the Lord Jesus Christ and believe in our heart that God raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. Somebody sent me an email this week saying, Pastor Mike, I heard somebody say that if I didn't speak in tongues as evidence of the Holy Ghost, I wasn't saved. That is not what the Bible says, and I'm sick and tired of people saying that. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Call upon him. Call upon him. You don't need our church. You don't need anybody's church. Call upon the name of the Lord. His name, by the way, is Jesus. And at that name of Jesus, every knee shall bow, and every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord, to the glory of God. This is Pastor Mike. I love you. God bless you. We'll see you in the next Watchman Pure Bible Study.